the word emotion kind of distorts everything, because like when you take the letter E and you equate that to the word feelings, you kind of mess up the motion of things. So remove the E and keep moving. That's what you do.
Spitting that D to the IMP. He spitting that D to the IMP. He spitting that D to the IMP. Ain't nothing but pimpin' these days. He spitting that D to the IMP. He spitting that D to the
Welcome back to another episode of Elevator Dialogue here on the Unkle Jr. Network. I am the Unkle Jr. And on the panel today, we have none other than Victor, Code Viziant. We have Antoine, the other artist, Christopher, Coach Dwayne, Georgia Football, Dwyer, and and with us for the first time today, a new friend of mine named Orville Ingram. Welcome to the show, Orville. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. And also just popped in backstage is another friend of mine, Maurice McDonald. He's brand new here today as well. Welcome to the show, Maurice. How are you? Well, while he's getting his stuff together, I'm gonna put you backstage. So while he's getting his stuff together, let's start the show. Today we're gonna be talking about men of value. But before we get into that, man, I want to check in with everybody. And we wasn't on last week. We were in about 2 weeks ago. So I just wanted to kind of go around the horn and check on everybody and see how everybody's been over the last couple of weeks.
Let's go with Antoine.
Go ahead, Antoine. Yeah, because we missed Antoine.
Well, I'm not ashamed to say I missed you guys. But Wednesdays wasn't the same. I got a lot more work done.
Okay. Yeah.
I had to be creative on Wednesday because usually, like I said, I block it off for this amazing show. Just busy with work, man. Been making things happen on this and trying to close up this year with my drawings, and that's it. But man, great to be back though.
Yeah.
Did you get married while we was gone?
Oh, that's funny. No, I joined every website there is known to man. I even got a what do you call it? Matchmaker.
You got a matchmaker?
That's man, we should track that.
Yeah.
Like we really need to track that, man. That would be pure content at all times.
Hey, just give me the feedback.
Yeah, there you go. It's me. You want the data?
Don't worry. If anything happens, you'll see a hand come in, like this once in a while.
What is the OnlyFans? That's what it's called?
No.
Yeah.
Those are one-nighters. So.
Oh man, here we go.
What about you, Vic?
And shoot, plans, working on staffing, create, my little venue that we're working on right now, and planning to have like a grand opening by the end of October, right around the time for Halloween, and try to bring a lot of community participation. Things are going really, really good, in terms of just making progress every day, chipping away at it, and it's not going backwards. So that's the most important thing, and nobody's telling us no. So, I'm saying, now just working on the fusion of all the different elements and then going forward.
That's not me.
I got it. I fixed it.
Just putting that out there.
Yeah, we know. Now, but most important thing is this weekend coming up, because Alabama plays Texas. It's happening in Austin. My uncles are coming in with my cousin as well, and we're gonna hang out, watch some football, and just do a lot of bonding. You know what I'm saying? So I've never had a chance to fly anybody. You know what I'm saying? This many people at one time, so I'm pretty grateful for that. And getting a chance to catch up with all my people.
Sound good to me.
Oh, and the clothing's getting ordered and stuff. So like, been working with that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
That's the
Oh
one that I
man,
went for.
they go my other brother right there.
Yeah.
He already knew who I was talking about.
There it is, Mr. Easy
Dr.
himself.
Easley.
Hmm.
Hey, what you got, Coach?
You know me, man. Just continuing to scale, man. Definitely still working with coaching clients. I kind of put myself out there to be an adjunct professor in between the time that I start my doctoral program in January. I had I see you, Dr. Easley. I'm gonna reach out to you, brother. I got you. Um, I'm still. I think I mentioned to you this morning. Had a couple of assessments that I did just recently. So just talking to people about the disc and emotional intelligence. Just wanted to help make our community better, man. And again, I'm just excited about the Friday podcast that we do, the Hearts of Men, which focus on young men, just to kind of help them to, think and be better. And it's pretty much targeting women who actually are raising boys that don't have their fathers in their life and don't necessarily have uncles as well. So, just kind of bringing up those conversations to where that those young men actually need so that they can actually be and do better when it comes down to how they actually move in this masculine space. So that's just it, man. Just excited and continue to push forward.
Hey, I'm excited for you, man, and I hope I can join on Friday. But before we go, man, like make sure you drop your link in the chat
Yeah.
so people can watch.
Absolutely.
Um, Maurice, you good down there? I don't know if he can hear us. Something going on. I'm gonna mute him again. But Orville, go ahead, man. Just
Yeah,
checking in, man. How's your week?
it was good. Actually, it was one of the most you know, empowering week I've had in a long time. Like yourself, I attended IMC, the International Maxwell Conference, and a lot of value to that conference. We spent a lot of time just going through so much and just learning so much and getting a chance to meet people and network. I really, really enjoyed every single bit of it. So, coming back to New York, I was just so encouraged us carry on. I'm actually signed up to do my first mastermind for starting next week. So I'm going to be doing that virtually. So I'll definitely send you the link so you can at least take a look and join in just to kind of take a peek and see what's going on. So just going to focus on the 15 invaluable laws of growth, and I'm really excited about just the opportunity to kind of like pour value into people, and given the fact that so many have done so for me. I'm really excited about coming in and joining you guys because, you know, quite honestly, after we met the first day of IMC, Garfield, you just kind of like we just clicked and we just started having conversations since then, and we had a nice heart-to-heart conversation the other night, and that just made it even more better for me to say I got to come on and join you, man, on this panel because obviously you're pouring value into people and you have a lot of experience in different ways and we have different perspective, and I think it's good that we could join hands and just have conversations and real conversations. So I'm really happy to be invited.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you. And this is it's a team effort in here. I only bring, just a small portion of the pie, you know what I mean, with everybody else, man. We all contribute, like, so we're all looking forward to your perspective on some of these things too, because as we all get insight and information from each other, we all grow. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So I appreciate you being here. Dr. Thomas, Rashad, Easley, what's going on?
Greetings, greetings, everybody. Good to see you all representing Raleigh, North Carolina. It's been a minute, a couple of weeks since I've seen folks. So, I want to say what's up to everybody from Uncle Junior, the coach, of course, and Antoine with that beautiful painter behind you, as he always is impressing me. Of course, my homeboy, home man, Victor. Nice to meet you, Maurice and Orville. Hope to have more time. Happy to be here. It's been, I think, I just want to echo, what our brother from New York just said. It's been an empowering week. I got I had to miss something. I had a little something rough that happened today with one of my clients, and I'm fortunate that I was able to do what Michelle Obama says: go high while they go low. And But I'll admit, I was able to go high because I saw the person so low, it didn't matter to me anyway. And so I actually engaged with them kind of like that. But it feels good to thank you. Antoine heard me. Yeah, so it feels good to be on and to be here. With you guys. Just real quick, Hardwood Podcast. I'm going to be getting it from Yale. It's going to be mine now. Okay, so that people know that So I have that coming. The Easley branch. We have a label with a number of amazing artists, and of course, My Heart for Diversity can help you with your diversity work. So just wanted to share that. But I'm looking forward to talking to these kings and learning from them. And oh my goodness, Chris just popped in. So I'm
Yeah.
going silent. I enjoyed listening to that brother last time with everybody. So just happy to be here with you all and good to see you.
Yeah. I know, right? Hey, Maurice, unmute yourself, man.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you loud and clear now, Maurice. Welcome to the
Thank
show,
you.
man.
Thank you so much, man. I'm happy to be. First of all, first time here, brother. Meeting you last week, man, in Orlando at the I call it the Maxwell Retreat, man, and that was just awesome. And you told me about this, and all day I was thinking about it. I know Wednesday, you talk about all these proud, powerful brothers, and when I was getting in here, having some issues, but I saw lips moving. I said, these brothers saying something good, and I just came in here in this little bit. I realized I'm in a good place. Here right in Mount Holly, North Carolina, right outside of Charlotte. And so I'm just happy to be here. Who's from New York? Heard somebody said New York. All right, yes, sir. I grew up in the Bronx, man. Went to Samuel Gompers High School and went to Hunter College in Manhattan. So yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Happy to be here, man.
All right.
Hey, and last but not least, Chris, welcome to the show. He's the baby of all of us. And that's all I'm gonna say. But he is.
I'll take that.
He adds a lot of value.
I'll take that. I appreciate it. I'm humbled. Well, what's going on, fellas? How are you doing?
We're doing well.
What's up, bro?
Man, I am maintaining.
Mm.
Life is good.
I
Life
love
is
it.
good. On the 3rd, I celebrated 19 years cancer free.
I like it. I like it. That's what's up, man. Oh,
You,
those
you,
Yeah.
got, you got to get a round of applause on soundbite or something on that
I
one.
know. I
Yes,
got to get
sir.
one.
Yes,
I
sir.
got to get one.
That's a blessing, brother.
It is.
Hey, you
Absolutely.
amongst the living 19. Everybody can't say that.
Yep.
True that. True
And you're
that.
41 and
Absolutely.
you're ready to embrace the rest of what you got to offer. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, my second half is gonna be a hell of a lot better than my first half. Word to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah.
look,
Word to everything.
and that you know what? That's the best way to look at your day. You know what I'm saying? Make I don't give a damn how good it was to start. Try to make the second half even better than the first.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey. Hey, before we get into it, we're about to switch over and start getting to the topic. Real reason why we came, actually, the other reason why we came here, the real reason why we came here is the fellowship at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And have great conversations and be able to add value. Um, but also, I want to give a shout out to all the unks, all the nephews, and women who support the channel and the show. And let's not forget about our servicemen out there. We salute you and thank you for your service. And also, shout out to the most elevated chat on YouTube. Antoine, we see you over there. Don't be over there starting no mess in the chat. I got my eye on you. No, I'm just playing. Not you, Antoine, the other Antoine. My homeboy Antoine. And like I said, hey, if you're on Facebook, you may want to jump over to YouTube because it's a more of a delay on Facebook. So if you jump over YouTube, you get more of a real time. Whether that's true or not, at least that's what has been my experience, and I've also heard that it's not. But either way, if you go over YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share it with one of your friends or something like that. So today what we'll be talking about is men of value, and this is not by any means to be confused with high value man or any of those talking points. This is something totally separate. We will be talking about men of value and just different talking points and different questions when it comes to men of value. And the first one I want to start off with right off the get. What does it mean to be a man of value? Um, we can start with whoever wants to start. I would rather start with either Maurice or Orville. You guys are the guests here today. It's your first time on, so but if you don't want to go first, that's fine too. But would like to open the conversation or the floor to you first.
Thank you so much, man. Wow, this topic of man, what does it mean to be a man of value? Boy, that goes so many ways. But for me, and I'm gonna put this out here. Number one, a man who number one knows who he is and knows his purpose. That he's not just out here to have a good time and all those kinds of things. All the good times are part of it, but a man knows his purpose, knows what he's here for, what he's about, adding value himself. I know that word value is there, but that's the root of it. An idea, a man who knows how to lead. And that doesn't necessarily mean anyone of age, because I've come to realize a man can be 50 years old and still doesn't know where he's at, doesn't know his purpose. He's still trying to figure things out. But to me, that's a foundation, number one, and knows who his creator is. So I'm gonna leave because those are powerful things for me, because my father told me that a real man pays his own way. He told me that when I was a little kid. What separates us and a man of value is, to me, I'm gonna plant my flag on that and be quiet.
It's all good.
Hey, it's a panel, so we want to hear everything. Don't be holding back on us.
Okay, well, I didn't want to come here, the newbie, coming into the group and just,
man, run your mouth, man. That's what you're here for.
Okay, yeah, I just know that there's been so many men have lied on the word value and respect me, wanting that woman, you better respect me, you better do this, better do that, and you better follow me, but you are not of value. Why should she follow you? You still trying to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
She disrespected me. Well, no, you still thinking like you're 17, and the idea, and you're not sure what direction you're going, even though people can get off track for a while. But the idea, if you got that foundation, a solid foundation, my grandma would say a firm foundation, then you are of value that somebody else can lead. I can lead my children. I can lead a corporation. I can lead a company. I can lead a church. I can be of value.
Yeah, that's I echo everything that Maurice is saying, but I just want to extend that to the point that when it comes to men of value, it's about know thyself first and foremost, right? You can't lead others if you don't know yourself. And when it comes to being a man of value, you have to be able to take responsibility for your actions. You have to be able to say when you're wrong and be responsible for your actions. There's so many ways you could describe a man of value, but when it comes down to it, someone who's going to be, focus on the people around him and be responsible for those around him. Attempt to do everything in his powers to lead and to make sure that the individuals around him are taken care of, family, friends, everyone. When you walk into any space, you should be able to hold it up high and just be cognizant of the space you're in and just be respectful to those people around you. But I think a man of value is someone who takes care of others and make sure that he takes care of himself.
I guess if I were to bottom line it, a man of value is somebody that's useful to people besides himself. He has to be useful to the people that are around him, whether it be his network, whether it be his family, his friends. Being a man of value isn't about the man. It isn't. And I guess men of value understand that it's about more than them. You have to be valuable to the people that are around you. And sometimes, and your value has absolutely nothing to do with the dollar amount that you make. Doesn't matter. I mean, at base level, I guess you have to be in a certain spot to be considered quote unquote valuable. But everyone has their own value in their own unique way. Everybody has their value in their own unique way. But at base level, it ain't about you. It ain't. It's not about you. So I guess I'll just leave it at that.
Antoine, it's been 2 weeks. What you got over there cooking?
Oh man, here we go.
Listen, this whole
I'm interested.
First of all, if
Please
you haven't
do me.
figured yourself
Please do
out by now, you ain't no damn man. All right, you ain't no man. If you haven't figured yourself out by now, you're a grown ass man. If you haven't figured it out by now, you ain't no damn man, because you're taking away the value of all the men that are real men. All right, the value of a man is this. Yes, money matters, because in the real world, you have to provide, not by lip service, by actually doing and building. All right, you're no good to nobody else if you don't bring something to the table. I'm not talking about Tom, Dick, and Harry. I'm talking about to the people that matters. All right, you want to lead, you want to be a woman to be submissive, you want a dime, that costs money. It doesn't cost lip service. You can't go to the bank and pay your mortgage with love. A man provides, a man builds. And if he doesn't have, he's seeking out to build more. None of this whole, I'm going to build myself. Building yourself is a lifelong journey. It ain't going to happen that there's an end to it. You know what? Because there's always a stepping ladder. When you get up one step, it goes higher. When you get up another step, it goes higher. Because if you become complacent, you start to fall backwards. So this whole hoopla crap in la la land about, oh, life, I got to build myself as a man. No, you're supposed to already be built as a man. That's why you're called a man. All right, so you grab your cojones and you build and you grow. And you take the people around you with you that have positive influence. And if they don't have influence, you got to be able to cut them loose. If you're no use to me in my life, I have no reason to talk to you more than a phone call. All right, my lawyer is there for a reason. I call him, I tell him my problem, then he hangs up on me. I'm not there to socialize. I'm not there to do it. When you come home, your wife is supposed to have everything set for you. Why? Because you provided her with everything that she needs to have it set for you. You want to be this hoopla man and you want to be this whole romantic book? No. 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day, you building as a man. You're already a man, but don't say you're a man and you need to be. No. You ain't a man if you don't got that shit together. And yes, you have to have your finances together. How the hell are you going to pay your mortgage where you live? How the hell are you going to get a good woman? Even the poor ones deserve to be well kept. And if you want a dime, that costs money. A good man is a provider. He knows how to handle business. He knows how to handle stress. He leaves the stress away from the family. He knows how to take care of his wife, and he knows how to check his wife. That's a good man. He raises his kids the best he could do. I'm not saying it's all built around money, but goddamn, you got to keep striving as a man. You never get comfortable. When people tell me I'm comfortable at $45,000 a year, I'm like, you comfortable for you. You can't be in my circle because we spend more than $45,000 a year. What the hell are you talking about? Now, if you tell me you're aspiring to be more than $45,000 a year, then you're in my circle. Then we're like, okay, what can I do for you to help you grow? And what do you have that I need? That's a man. That's a man of value. Women look at men like that because they want to be controlled. They want to be taken care of. And what are you talking about? This whole sad shit about, I'm going to build my life. I'm going to do this. What the fuck you talking about? You're supposed to be a man already. You're supposed to have value. You went to school. You learned from your father. And if you don't have one, goddamn it, go find a mentor. That's a man of, if I was a woman and I heard this pussy ass shit, I'd be telling you, what the fuck? Who has the balls? You or me? What are you guys talking about? Tell me something that I haven't heard already with this sad shit. This is the year 2022, man. Millionaires are built at 20 years old now. They got YouTube. They got avenues. You got to put it all together and you got to find the right people to go. And if the person's holding you down, cut him loose. He ain't no use to you. Cut him loose. You know what I mean? If we're all on a ship and somebody's dying, feed the shark with him, man. We got to keep the boat light and the water heavy outside of the boat. What are you talking about? You guys are talking like, I can't believe I'm hearing this shit. I sound like I'm freaking at church or something. This is a channel of motivation and building people up and giving them the tools they need and telling them, grab your cojones. You ain't a man if you coming to me crying. If you're coming to me with a problem, let's find a solution. Shit, man, take the tears to mom. I'm here to freaking build. What? Yeah. God damn. I'm hearing this and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? money doesn't matter. You goddamn right, money matters. Because you ain't get in my house if you don't have money. What do you use for me for?
I
It
think
does.
I think that they're I'm not going to
You're the
discount
sticker.
money at all. And I think it does come down to um your outcome and your goals and what you want. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if what you're doing at 45 or 50,000 lines up with what you want down the road, then I think that that's okay. That's just me personally. But I also am more of a traditional type of man too. And for me, I like I'm more of a traditional type guy. You know what I mean? I believe that men should have a nest before they bring a woman into their nest.
Damn
That's just
right.
personally what I believe.
And a
I
big
think
one
that,
too.
but I think that there are other ways of doing it as well. You know what I mean? I'm not going to discount anybody else who wants to do it. They want to get together at 25, both making, working at McDonald's but they're going to night
There you
school or
go.
something, and then they both decide to build together. Like I don't have no problem with that too.
None at
I
all.
think it's different ways, but I think that just money may be one low energy piece of what a man is when it comes to their value. But I do think that it is part of it, but I don't think it's a huge part of it. I think it
It's
is
not a
part
huge
of it.
part. It's not a
Yeah.
huge part.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was a huge
Yeah.
part.
I'm not saying you said that. I
Okay,
was
because
just
it's a
making
part
it
of
clear.
be realistic. This is the real world out there. Your rent is coming. Your mortgage is coming. I can't take love to the bank and pay my bills. You guys got to be kids today have to realize that. I don't give a shit about pussy. Fuck that. You're gonna get the best pussy when you have the biggest wallet. And looks and height goes out the window when you're standing on it. So people got to remember that. But until that happens, you have to build. You have to build. Men should keep on thriving. You know what? While you're stuck at 45, the economy is still going to grow. 45 ain't going to cut it in 5 years or 2 years. I don't know if you know the new things, but 24,000 is that's below the poverty line. You're poor at 30. I don't know what you're talking about. And that depends on where you live. So I
Y'all,
don't know
y'all,
what
y'all
you're
can
talking
y'all
about.
can blame me for letting Antoine out the bag.
I mean, I'm just saying when I hear men
You
talking
can
that,
blame me.
I'm like, come on, guys, let's give
Yeah.
them something to freaking talk about. Let's build
So
over here. I'm,
I,
I'm
I
here.
want
I'm here on this channel for a reason.
I want to make sure we get to everybody too,
Okay,
Antoine.
sorry,
So
sorry.
I want to
No
get to
problem.
Chris and Coach
I do.
and Dr. Easley as well.
Okay. I mean, I can wait if I could say something. You're not just.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Okay,
You
yes,
good.
okay, cool. Okay, I see the question is still what does it mean to be a man of value, but I think I don't have anything. I would say anything new to add to that. I think it's probably what people deem as valuable, right? The one thing I noticed about our conversation here is that everything is positive, right? But a mob boss can be a good man too. An assassin can be a good man too, to somebody. So I also think that it's about who you add value to, which I think is what which is what Uncle Junior was actually saying there. Because there are plenty. Like I'm not advocating for it, but a number of people probably like number 45, and they think that he provides. Because of what he did for his family. So I think that one of the things that about value is it depends on what it is that you bring, who it is that you're supporting, what you bring in, to the table, who, like who needs it. And I don't think that a man of value is only a man who takes care of home, if you will. A man of value is a person who takes care of the neighborhood. That's the reason why I
You're
say the
useful to
mob boss.
everyone around you.
That's it. A valuable man. That's why I say it can be an assassin. I'm in the crew of assassins. We need to take out our enemies. Then that assassin goes in and then they handle their business. And so, basically it all depends on what is valuable to you, and what, so like I agree with everybody. That's why I say I agree. I agree that money isn't it, but you need money, because if you don't have money, then you can't survive in this economy.
But
You know
it's
what I'm
just a
saying?
tool.
But exactly. So I was gonna say, so
It's
then
just a
if you
tool.
don't have the know-how with how to use it as a tool, it don't matter how much money you have, because you could be a millionaire and then you'll be at zero in less than 24 hours. So that's why I think it's all about it's all in what you value, it's all in what those around you, what they value, and if you bring something to them. But what I love, I just wanted to add that it doesn't necessarily have to be about man in the house. It could be a man in the street. He could be a man on the corner. Me and you may not be in the street, and we may not be on the corner, but I'll be daggone if I'm gonna say that person don't add value just because I'm not living in that situation. And that's all I can say about that.
Man, I heard so many good statements. I think, I was told a story a long time ago. I was a young sergeant first class in the Army. And one of my mentors then, Command Sergeant Major Charles Taylor, we were talking about some of the soldiers. And, I made a statement, man. I said, man, that soldier over there just sorry. He don't do nothing. He don't add no value to anything or anyone. And then Sergeant Major said, yeah, you got a point. He said, but let me tell you this right here. He said, everybody has some type of worth. You as a leader, you have to figure out where that person adds value and then put them in that position. And I tell that story just simply to say, I believe 100% that regardless of where anybody is in the continuum of their awareness, they add value at that level. I think one of the best statements that I heard when I was younger is we are where we are so that we can learn that we can grow. So even if I don't make $100,000 a year, if I make $45,000 a year, I'll be doggone if anybody can tell me that I don't add value to the people in my circle. Because at that particular point, what I can tell you is that my value is not based upon a dollar bill. It's based upon my character, which gets back to what Brother McDonald said. I liked what he actually said in the beginning, right? Your value was instilled in you. I'm going a step further if you don't mind. Your value was instilled in you by your creator. The issue is that we have to realize the value that we actually have and then find a way to pull it out. And based upon our environment, somebody mentioned a mentor earlier, like these people are strategically placed in our life to help pull the value that's hidden in us out. So I believe holistically that value is a continuum based upon the level of awareness of each individual person. And when we look at it from that perspective, that prevents me from demonizing any person out there, man, woman, whatever, it doesn't matter. So when we look at it from that perspective, everybody has value. And if we can just accept that as an understanding that everybody has value, then what we should do is become curious about that person so that we can understand the intrinsic value that they possess. At that point, we partner with them to help them realize that value. Again, I just want to stress that I think everybody made some fantastic statements. But if I can just add to what everybody said, everybody has value. My value may not be money today. My value may be character. My value may be found in my family. My value may be whatever that looks like. I just believe that we have to stop looking at one particular thing and saying that thing defines that individual, that group of people, or that in group, right? And if we can do it from that perspective, then we can change our perception of value and then we can broaden our horizon when it comes down to value and realize that everybody has value.
Yep, because it's a whole bunch of dudes with money that ain't worth nothing.
Man,
Precisely.
money
So
don't
true.
money don't get you everything, man. It don't get you access either. You know what I'm saying? It's not guaranteed to get you access to nothing. So like the value of money is relative to the environment that you know what I'm saying that it fits in, you know. So but as far as the word value in itself, you have to define that for yourself. You come up with some of the most basic things just to keep you lined up. You know what I'm saying? You got to have your left and right limitations, you know. So, in terms of just what the word value is and how it fits, it's about how you affect other people. Because if you never test drive, you know what I'm saying, your act of service to somebody else, then how do you know what I'm saying, how to measure yourself at some point? And and I think that a man of value also has to be a man of service. That doesn't mean you have to serve. You have to like that doesn't mean you have to go put on a uniform or nothing like that. But you have to work on behalf of the community that you want to be old in, right? And if you don't serve the community by taking care of the young men that we think are the ones that should be leading, we should be grooming more leaders. We should have, you know what I'm saying, decentralized leadership. Because at some point we had to follow. We've all submitted to something. That's why we know how important it is to have this conversation and you know and level the playing field amongst reasonable men of a certain status. You know what I'm saying? Valuable men use that status to set conditions for follow-on effects that benefit the community as well, which is part of service. And then one of the things I think that that a man has to have is code. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to operate from something. This is
I
my
see
book,
what you did there.
you know. And here's the thing: you got to come up with your own laws, man. Because like, we had an orange president, bro. You can make up any rule you want just to stay straight. You know what I'm saying? And without hurting nobody. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I've been working off of accountable masculinity, a manifesto I'm working on. And the first is men focus on men. Number two, we don't argue with women. Number three, decentralized leadership. And at the end of it all, legacy and equity, because that's what we're working towards, right? You don't want to be, getting ran over by history where you didn't do anything to leave your mark as a man. Because if don't nobody remember your name, did you even exist? And if you didn't help anybody while you was here, what was you doing? You know what I'm saying? Imagine being 40 to 50 years old and you can't teach nobody nothing, you know? And you got to look up one day and somebody expects something from you. You can't even give them the basic understanding of how things work. So when you think about the the information that you accumulate over time, it's a privilege to be able to be in a position to teach other people things. You know what I'm saying? You earn all these credentials. At some point, you got to give it back. You know what I'm saying? In a way where it can shorten somebody else's path to success, without having to make all the mistakes you made. That way, if they go out and make their own mistakes, that's on them. You know what I'm saying? But they can't say that they never had anybody. You can get mentorship from anything if you're paying attention to it, you know? And human beings fall into one of three categories, and I'm going to move on. You're here to either create problems, create solutions, or create opportunities. And if you can get that, you know what I'm saying, those left, right, and bottom limitations together, you know what I'm saying? And that's the foundation of your code. You know what I'm saying? So problems, solutions, or opportunities. Which one of the three are you here to create?
Victor, I
Hey,
like that plug. I would love to see that book, The Code. All right, shameless plug, but it's okay.
no.
Uh,
Hey, if
you
you
know,
got a book, plug yours too. Look,
I don't have a book
that's
to
part
plug,
of
but I'm going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
man.
plug my business.
Plug it.
Vic, you always make me
Let's
Plug
laugh
it.
when you do
go.
that, man. Vic
Uh,
always makes me laugh when he does that.
right. But I mean, Victor, you said something that I was thinking about with that when it comes to um, the idea of value. It's not just how you be of service to yourself, because we want to know our value. We want to know who we are. We want to know how much we are worth, when we're looking for a job, when we're trying to get with someone, when we're trying to get into a relationship or kids or family. We want to know our worth. But I think your point that you have to be of service to others. It's not just about just being understanding yourself and how much you can accumulate, but how much are you giving back? Because I always think about it from the perspective that when you say something or do something and someone walks away and think about what you just said and they're inspired by it, or they act on it because of what you said, out of respect, out of the value that you pour into them, I think you're of service to them. I've never been in the armed forces, but I'm sure every single person who have ever been in the armed forces understands what it means to respect the people above or below and next to them, and continue to know that they have to value everything that goes on around them, because you're trusting people. So if you want people to value you, you have to trust them and they have to trust you too. So I think value can be shaped in different ways and different forms, but at the end of the day, how much are you putting out there and how much are you affecting lives?
Hey, that's a great point right there.
Yeah.
Um, I want to give a shout out to Sarah Khan. That's my brother's girlfriend. It's her birthday, and his birthday tomorrow, and all of those things. So give her a shout out. She be helping them out. They good people. She my homie right there. She my future sister in law. You heard it here first, as it. I think he watching. I also want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I appreciate y'all for jumping in. I see some great talking points over there. Some people saying some great things over there. So I appreciate y'all jumping in, joining the show, and being an active participant. Um, I may maybe about 8 o'clock, I may drop the link and have people come up and ask a question or something. But if you have a question about the current topic, feel free to put it in the chat. And if we have time, we'll get around to it. One of the things that a few people have been talking about is um, giving back to the community or whoever in different things like this. So this may kind of sort of fit this thing, this question right here, but I want to know, who are men valuable to? um like, who are they valuable to? We always, we talked about this and we talked about that, and it may be more so a question of, um who should we be, who should we give our value to, whatever that value may be. Actually, let's do that. Who should we be giving our value to?
Anyone who is willing to accept it and humble themselves and understand that they need it.
Anyone who's giving you a paycheck.
I would say to those that reciprocate.
How
To
about you,
those that reciprocate.
I like that. Yeah, I would agree. To those who can reciprocate and will reciprocate.
with
And,
a pen
and,
in
and
their
the
hand?
point and the point being is that if you look at your emotions the same way you would look at your money, because is your emotions are a currency for understanding too. You know what I'm saying? That's when you start talking about sympathy and empathy, right? So what's the return on investment for your emotions when you're pouring them in the wrong direction? You know what I'm saying? What is the outcome of it? And if you start looking at it, it's like if you're giving your energy to conflict, what's the outcome for unhealthy conflict? What's the trophy? You
Hmm.
know, what's the benefit of an unhealthy discussion? Now if you want to have an elevated dialogue, you know what I'm saying, it is a different conversation. You know what I'm saying, because you come in with a different baseline, a different uh you know reason for having a dialogue to begin with, because you're coming to find solutions. So you give your energy to people that can call you with opportunities instead of problems.
So I'm gonna go a different route. Not that I disagree, right? I'm just going to add something else to consider. I give my energy to those people who line up with who I'm called to be. So, kind of going back to what Brother McDonald stated, right? My Creator created me for a particular purpose. I need to understand what my purpose is. Once I understand what my purpose is, just my message to young men: marry your purpose, pursue your calling. Right? Again, that's the key. I'm gonna say it again. Marry your purpose, pursue your calling. So, with that being said, everybody who is in line with my calling, that's who I give my value to. That includes men, that includes women, that includes children, that includes my community, that includes my city, that includes the whole United States. If I have a panel to reach them. So with that being said, I don't withhold my value from anybody that lines up with my purpose.
You know
I
what?
like that one.
You know what? I like to write some. I would like to share something. Just real quick, and it is something different. It's a shameless thing with some bars. I said, you tell me what did you accomplish. You tell me what did you finish. Don't claim other success. It's not yours because you're both in it. I'm all for my community, but tell me what they look like. It's more about what they do, and it's how they shook life. We can travel to the moon, no rocks in the pipe. We can take a joke, and you might get smacked if you don't act right. Because there's no fresh princes over here. We reality kings. We don't bang bros, personalities green. Collect dead presidents because their value's in the dollar. Not when they're in office. I'd rather listen to a scholar. But they don't know everything. Guess who does? My mama, who taught me discipline, love, business, and stay with my father. Avoided the drama, popped the collar, life became a sauna, overcame the heat, walk on water, and swim in the lava. So how your skin gonna look when the fire makes it darker? If you succeed in the shadows, then you must become a problem. I think that people, when we say who do you give value to, and I agree with everything that Coach said, and I think that when you're living in your purpose, you sometimes are going to be given value, and it's not about getting thanks, and it's also not about giving value sometimes to people who will see it and who can give it back to you. And I think that's why I appreciate what Coach said about marry your purpose, because if your purpose is what gives you value, then you won't be seeking thanks from people who may not appreciate it and from people who may not even fully understand what it is, that you're doing. So that's why I said, if people say, what does my community look like? I said, it's like my community is made up of people who shook life. So it's not going to be just black men, black people, what I'm saying, black women. It ain't just going to be children. It's going to be people who are doing something in particular. But I think that's another thing is that you don't have to give your value to someone who's always going to thank you for it. You don't always have to give your value. And matter of fact, I'll tell you something else. You probably not going to always give your value to people who will appreciate it, especially in the moment. That's why I agree with what Coach said about marry your purpose. I don't think it's necessarily always about people seeing your value in the moment when you do it. A real man can walk past that when people don't thank you. You know, a real man can also see when people are not even appreciating and going. It's like I said today. I said I had a rough interaction with somebody today. I didn't go low, but that's because that person was lower than me anyway. So there's no need for me to go there. You know where they are. So so I just wanted to say that and also spit some bars so you know that I'm nice on the mic. Cool.
Hey, do it, do it.
Listen, here's why I like what you said, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be long winded.
No, go
Here's
ahead,
why I
coach.
like what you said, brother. I mean, you was spot on because people need you that can't afford you. Let's just think about it from that perspective. There are kids, and I'm being honest at this particular point. I'm being transparent. There are kids in our community right now that needs the wisdom that you guys possess, but they can't afford your hourly rate. So don't charge them an hourly rate. You pour into those kids the things that were either poured into you because your father was in the home, or you had to go and seek and find on your own because your father was missing. So don't look at it, and you guys know me. I am all about the law of reciprocity. But let's just be honest. There are some situations to where the law of reciprocity doesn't fit, but I make it fit, and here's how: because my reciprocal value from what I give to them is seeing them get it. When I can look in a young man's eye and see the light bulb come on, that's my payment. That's my payment when it comes out. So, man, I'm sorry. I get a little passionate about this because again, children need us, man. They need us. I can't stress that enough.
And that's why create it. Like, here's the thing: men that believe in a creator have one thing in common. They believe that they're supposed to be creating at any given time. That's why I said problems, solutions, or opportunities. Which one are you creating? You know what I'm saying? Like that captures everything for me, And you absolutely right. You have to move in your purpose. The word purpose in itself means intentional. So it's implied. Like, everybody here is intentional about what they're doing. And even if you're not directly absorbing the information firsthand, like being directly counseled, you still are. Because we talk about, like you said, the law of reciprocity, you know what I'm saying? And then being able to add the extra oomph to it just to make it make sense for somebody else. Because you have to make the information tangible. Because it's not about the information being accessible anymore. It's about a will to change the way that you think that leads you down a path to change your own recipe. Because if you keep repeating your own cycles, you the ingredient that keeps the recipe coming back the same way, good, bad, or indifferent. You know what I'm saying? So all of that is mixed into, making sure that you're living of service. Because I always say, hey, look, if you're in the kitchen cooking and feeding people, you ain't gonna starve. But if you gotta wait for a plate, you might not eat.
Hey, Maurice, Maurice, hey, actually, Maurice, before you add to this, real quick, I want to do another plug. Man Heart for Diversity. Go pick that up on Amazon. I make sure Dr. Easley dropped the link. That's his book. Over in the chat, he don't know this, but I'm a butcher the last name, and don't get upset at me. But Walter Rashett, he's an author too. He's in the chat right now. This is his book, Be a Man. So go out there and pick that up too. Walter, if you're in the chat, drop the link to your book, as well as I think he has a new book that just dropped not too long ago or getting ready to drop too. So but drop that in there too. But Maurice, what do you think about this topic, man? Who should we give our value to?
First and foremost, I am blessed being in you King's presence. So I'm sitting here thinking as a newbie, saying, man, this energy, I'm loving it. And coach, you said marry your purpose and do what? What was the second one?
Marry your purpose and pursue your calling. Marrying your purpose falls in line with what Christ did with the church. He married the church. The church is the bride of Christ. So if we marry our purpose, then
Yeah.
we become that bride intentionally.
Yeah, man. I'm sitting over here taking notes, but look here, I feel like I'm a student, brother. And look, I'm
Hey,
getting
we're all students, my friend.
yes, sir. I'm just sitting there because first and foremost, I realize things happen for a reason. I've been a servant. I've been a public servant all my life, different careers. I've been a high school counselor. And yesterday I had a sidewalk, and now I teach at the college. And so, and prior to that, I had 30 years as a police officer. So I've been out of the box. But I did domestic violence counseling while as a police officer. They didn't know it. Battery intervention program. So I have been that stereotype of police. That wasn't me. But yesterday, today had a sidewalk encounter. A young man that I had as a ninth grade, I was his counselor. Mom had cancer. During that time, he was wild and 14 years old. And I hadn't seen him in 4 years. And yesterday, he was at the college. I'm across the street and recognized him. Hair's grown long. He said, "Hey, man, you remember me?" And I looked at him. I remember the face, but the hair threw me off. And then he pulled the hair back. And I said, "Garinger High School." He said, "Yeah." And I called his name. "You remembered me?" And I said, "Yeah, man, how's your mom doing?" Whatever. He said, "Mom passed away January of 2020. And so I knew then he was lost, because he said, "I was wilding back then." I said, "So you got it together?" He said, "Yeah, I'm here. I need 21 credits to get from high school. And I come back because of my mama." And so he and I had this conversation. But the fact that he wanted my time, he remembered me. He stopped me. And so the question is, who should I give value to? Is young brothers like that for me, the sidewalk encounter. And so now when he gets to 21 credits, I told him what my office was. And my plan, last night I was in bed thinking about it. And I said, "You know what?" Because many conversations I had with his mama, trying to rescue him. Y'all know the story. You've been there trying to help him, and they're not ready yet. And so for the fact that his mama's gone and dad's not in his life, dad was in the military. He wants to find dad's Social Security number, because dad was in the military. He got some benefits. So my whole point is to try to help him figure this out and get him plugged in, get his high school diploma, and let's get him in his college. Let's get him in a somewhere he can make some money, whatever he wants to do, culinary arts, heat and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, to help him find his way. That's just one way. I look at it this way. Oftentimes, it is men I can't get a return on. Where I don't get it's easy for me to add value to somebody who's adding value to me. To me, that's just a business deal, and I'm looking
bartering.
Like it's bartering. Exactly. Okay, so therefore I have no sacrifice in that, because I'm getting something for me. And being that I know people have been victimized, I've been on both sides of things, and my whole point is, every day, how can I add value? How can I do things, give value? Because the book I read says that if I plant a seed, I'm going to get a harvest. And if I got the faith the size of a mustard seed, and so I'm going to be blessed coming anywhere I look at it. But I pour into it. I realize that's the second sidewalk encounter I've had at that campus with young Black men from my past. And the one the world gave up on. My whole thing is watching him become somebody that I'm watching years, who former gang members, who now have their master's degrees, and they're doing things in the field, vice lords, and all this stuff. My mission is to reach out to them and to do, and I'm going to be blessed, and also be the model for my kid, to add value for my 33-year-old, to not do, because I modeled things in front of him. But I'm just sitting there saying to myself, that sidewalk encounter hit me, that he stopped me. I didn't stop him. He stopped me and wanted my help, wanted to hug me the whole bit. And I realized he's on a mission, because you can imagine 18-year-old that lost your mom and dad not in your life. You already know the recipe he headed for. That type of stuff. I'm not gonna filibuster, brothers. I'm gonna land that plane right there, brothers.
Could I say something? following, you, Mr. McDonald, the Dr.
Yes.
McDonald. Thank you for sharing that. It got me a little emotional, when you said that about what happened with his mom, and so I get something, kind of, to wipe my eyes because I know it's an ugly word that he's dealing with.
Yeah.
And and so I thank you, for sharing that story. And then you mentioned kind of like leaving school. So I made a bad mistake when I was in high school, when I was a young person, and got, basically got expelled from school and had to go to an alternative school. Now this goes to something that Coach was also saying here again, right? When I got to universities and started working, and they were like, we need to recruit people. I would always go to alternative high schools. I was like, well, then let's go there. And they'd be like, well, why you want to go there? And I would say, well, because a lot of times those folks have been treated like they're throwaways. Well, how would you know? I'm glad that you asked, because I've been a throwaway, basically. I've been treated like that. I totally understand what that feels like.
Jesus Christ, thank you.
And so, I think that thank you for that, Chris. I think that when people can use their experience to inform them, going back to what Coach said about marrying your purpose, here's something that I say. I say visions of the heart will help you keep your grind. Because to me, that's really what you should be chasing. I don't chase dreams. Dreams come from out here. Visions come from in here. You know what I'm saying? The vision can't be shown. A vision is given to me. And then that's what I pursue. And I look at the hard things that I've been through in life. And that's when I see the visions come out, right? And I'll say this last piece because I definitely want to hear. Here's something I think that strong men of value do this. You don't do things because you expect other people to do it for you. See, I don't care about psychological safety anymore. I do things, I'll be honest with you, partially because that's what I wanted somebody to do for me. And so now, since I do it for other people, I'm not waiting for it to come back to me. And like you said, Doc, you see them on the sidewalk, and man, they coming to you. And I think that that's why, though, because you put them first. And so when someone has been treated like the lowest stone, and someone elevated them to the top of the building, they got to embrace that. And I just want to say thank you for sharing that, because I've been that guy who saw someone who helped me on the sidewalk and ran up to him and was like, man, thank you for not, calling me a thug when I had long hair and people would tell me that I was ugly and that I wasn't going to be shit. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, for giving me places to go with things like, listening to me. And I find myself now, Coach, and everybody, I'm sorry, everybody, man, I'm like getting more, because that's what I do. I help the people now, and it's not because I want thanks. I'm just like, I see it, and I'm like, hey, man, come here.
Service, bro.
Like, come here. I see you struggling. I don't want you to struggle like I did. So anyway, thank y'all. And yes, sir. Service.
If you think about that old song way back in the day, I'm gonna date myself. He ain't heavy. He's my what? He's my brother.
He's my brother.
He's my brother. And at the end of the day, I look back at it. All of us have services somewhere. There's been somebody, I believe there's a common theme here, that young brothers, because we're tired of seeing them in the backseat of police cars. We're tired of seeing them being shot down. Shooting each other, getting shot by the police, getting shot, period. We're tired of seeing them second-class citizens. At the end of the day, as we know, we got so many of them that got daddies in their life, or some of them sperm donors, and some of them not even there. Unless he make it in the NBA, then he gonna show up. I'm just saying the idea that somebody somewhere has to do that, to me, to be men of value and adding value in their lives. Because let's face it, everybody's got a story. You see, there's a caught and not caught yet. Because in the Bronx, New York, the weed that I smoked, come on. Back in the day, in the 70s, I'm dating myself, but the things that if my mama knew, she come down from heaven there and whip me, and my dad, that crazy Jamaican, come on, man. He didn't play. But I'm just saying, I had a praying grandmama and a praying mama, and it just so happens, I hate the police. Come on now. Who knew what my creator had a plan for me? But my mission was not to go out here and I understood the neighborhood. I'm the guy sitting on the porch, at the liquor house, in the uniform, talking to the people, eating watermelon, chilling, because I understood. Now, people didn't like it, but I had relationship. And then, then I started going to school, doing all that kind of stuff. I saw the racism, to go to school, be the counselor, all that kind of stuff. But now I'm in a position because I've seen both sides. And I know there's some crazy stuff that happened, but my whole mission now is to go out here now to make a difference in any arena I can, to be able to have a platform where people can hear and be able to relate to my boys and my girls, of course, you know. But anyway, I'm just happy to be here tonight, man, with you guys. My first night here, and look, y'all got me telling the story, man. And bro, man, look here. I teared up yesterday. So look, I'll bust a grape in a heartbeat because I got that passion, you know. I can't hold water. I'm just letting you know. Ain't ashamed of it because I know where I came from. Government cheese, powdered milk. Y'all don't know nothing about no powdered milk. That peanut butter with the oil on the top. Some of
What
y'all
about
heard
the
of
butter?
it.
Don't
Oh,
forget the
I
butter.
know about it.
oh,
Don't forget
Y'all
the
don't know
butter.
nothing about that stuff,
Hey,
man.
that government
Yeah,
cheese
we had
makes
to talk
the
about Birmingham
hey,
back in the day.
the,
well, hold on.
that government cheese makes the best macaroni on the planet. I'm
What?
just gonna put
What?
that out there.
Hey, and them grilled cheese sandwiches,
Grilled
the
cheese
bologna
sandwich.
get cut on the corner,
Come
so
on,
it
man.
bubble up. Y'all know what I'm
Come
talking
on,
about.
man. Stop playing.
But
Stop playing.
but
Oh,
can
man.
I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna shut up. Everybody on this platform, Coach calls it the law of reciprocity. I call it the law of equivalent exchange. You cannot gain without giving something first. And what you gain might not come from who you gave to in the first place. That's why I said in the beginning that the dollar amount that you make does not matter. Humankind cannot gain anything without sacrificing something in return. To obtain anything, something of equal value must be lost, and it might not come from the person that you gave to. Yes, money is a tool to get you where you need to be, so that way people can look at you like you quote unquote valuable, but they're going to look at how you made that money. What did you do? Can I duplicate what you did legally and not go to jail? You understand what I'm saying? That's what I meant when I said that the dollar amount doesn't matter. It's good to have, and yes, you do need it to survive, but that does not that determines your value in today's society. That determines your value in today's society. But you might be doing something to get that somebody can look at and be like, "Hey, he's doing this and he's not breaking no laws and he ain't hurting nobody. Let me see if I can duplicate that. Let me see if I can find my purpose the same way and do it in a way that I'm actually helping people and not hurting the people that are around me."
Ending
Yeah,
unhealthy competitions, man. In the unhealthy competitions, bro.
letting go of the ego.
Like think about it. When you end an unhealthy competition, you you break up something before it begins. You got to ask yourself, what's the trophy? What's the return on investment for my energy? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I get if I'm right? Do we win? Is it okay? Like there's a difference between being right and then winning. You know, a lot of us have been in situations where we could have been right and we wouldn't have won. You just had to sit back and bite your tongue and then just let the play happen. You know what I'm saying? And let somebody else see it develop because you don't want to be the one to jade someone else's perception before the act actually, you know what I'm saying, comes to fruition. You got to find a way to operate in full transparency sometimes and just keep your mouth closed and then let it come back to you. You know what I'm saying? Let other people seeing that you was right without you opening your mouth is like one of the best things ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't have to go back and rehash it. Like, hey, you got the metrics first. I already knew what it was. You late to my understanding. Because again, if you already had vision, like Dr. Easley talked about, you already knew what was likely going to happen. That's why we have made it this far in life. You know what I'm saying? And to know, kudos to our own, because at some point there's another hand moving you around on the board, bro. and when you gain enough experience and you have enough moments where you just had that moment where you blank out, you're like, man, I remember on this day 10 years ago, where was I? And you're trying to figure out where you were. There's a version of you that is looking for you right now. And what I mean is that I wish I had a me when I was 25. I wish I had a me. So everybody out there is looking for a version of you that's might be a little bit younger than you that you recognize in other people, just like the sidewalk encounter. You know what I'm saying? I've had a couple of sidewalk encounters in the short span of time that, you know what I'm saying, I've had a chance to really promote what I'm doing and add value to this podcast and this panel. But if you got a great alignment with your purpose, you don't worry about benefits. It's coming because you're in the middle of it. You benefiting from the act. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part when I was talking about earlier, being in the kitchen. It's gonna keep you from starving because you feeding everybody else. You're gonna eat along the way. How many times you've been full by the time the barbecue done? You know?
You over there eating.
Yeah. Hey, and if you don't have that story, your ass can't cook.
Yeah, but value. Listen, there's different levels of value. Everybody deserves respect. You got the guy on the street, the homeless guy. He has value and he deserves a level of respect. But his value is different from somebody. Value should be determined by the people that are in your life, how much you give a purpose. They serve a purpose, they deserve a certain amount of value, period. Right? God has a value of his own. That's a whole other topic right there. But the people that serve a purpose in your life, those are the ones you give a value to, and a different type of value than you'd give a homeless guy in the street, because those people are going to give you the money to help the homeless guy in the street. You got to keep it basic. It's great, the whole teary-eyed thing. I get that. But at the end of the day, people that are serving a purpose in your life deserve your main value because they will elevate you to where you need to be to help somebody. What's the first thing you do in a plane if it's going down? Put the mask on yourself. Then start to help somebody else. And it's very important that people understand, these kids understand. First, give the value to the people that are elevating you because they are making sense. They've done it already. That's where your attention should be going. And I'm not saying don't give value to the people that are homeless and all that. They're the ones you help. But value should be given, should be broken off to the people that serve a purpose in your life. If they don't serve a purpose, I don't give value to a guy that committed murder. I really don't care. He deserves this value. His value is when that thing goes up and he dies. That's his value. He put himself there. That's where he ended up. I have nothing to worry about that. The law determined his value. That's not my business. My business is not to get him out. I think everybody should determine the value for the purpose that people serve in your life. I'm not saying you don't give respect to everybody because there's a level of respect that people deserve that have value. A homeless guy has value. But it should be distributed accordingly. There's levels to value. You don't value a homeless guy like you would value a guy that you're doing business with, two different levels. But you don't look at him any less. You just look at him like, this is the guy I'm going to help once I get this. So I believe that value is a purpose, distributed as a purpose. That's how I look at it. And I think everybody needs to be realistic to that when you're walking around in this world today. Because this La La Land is great. Love the La La Land stories, teary-eyed, great. But at the end of the day, you ain't taking none of that shit to stay where you are. Yes, value is money. It is, because you need to live. You need to eat. And if I'm looking at you, you have no money. My job is to help you. But you know what? I can't help you if I have nothing to help you with. If I don't have knowledge, what the hell am I sitting here for? If I did it my way, and I will encourage somebody to do it this way and that way. But if I don't have value to bring to the table, my presence ain't gonna do nothing to you. I'm just gonna sit down and listen. What can I contribute? My sad story? And what, you gonna wipe a tear for me?
Antoine, you just said something though. You just said something that kind of challenges what you just said.
What?
Money and knowledge aren't the same thing. And so
knowledge gets you money.
Yeah, money and knowledge aren't the same thing.
Knowledge gets you money.
But knowledge and money aren't the same thing.
Two different things.
Exactly. So if someone has the knowledge to tell somebody how to get the money, you see what I'm saying? It don't necessarily mean that I got to have the money. I may just need to know how to get it. So that's what I'm saying. What you just said, what you always do, leader, you always contradict yourself. It's not only money. It's the knowledge. You just said it. You're right. You said
knowledge is power. Listen, knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power, but
knowledge is power, right?
But that's why I said what I said, Doc.
In order for you to have knowledge,
that's why I said what I said,
Doc. There's got to be something acquired.
That's exactly. No. And that's what I'm saying.
But the way you're saying money doesn't matter. Like if you live in a utopia, you're out of your effing mind.
What I said was the money is a tool.
Right.
It's a big tool.
The money is a tool. The money is a tool to get you where you need to go, but the knowledge on how to get that money is what people want.
But it's a big tool. Don't downplay it.
You understand what I'm saying? It's the knowledge base. It's the foundation behind how you got what you got is what we need.
It's a big tool.
Let me say this.
But it's a tool nonetheless.
It plays a big part though.
Hello,
Just
hello.
play a little small little
Hey,
square box.
so
Go ahead, Vic.
so
What are you
so
talking about, man?
if we're gonna focus it on tool, right? Um, have you ever used I don't know, maybe a car jack?
Fixing a tire.
Yeah. No. I mean, just have you ever used a car jack in general?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ha-
Mhm.
have you ever lifted up I guess different weighted vehicles with that same jack? And you got to put the jack in a different position based on, you know what I'm saying, center of gravity, right?
Right.
Yes.
Of course.
But if I give you this tool, if I give you a jack that you've never used, you don't know it's a jack unless I tell you, do you?
Mhm.
Right. The
You
knowledge.
So
said it. How many
so
people know
so
how to
of
use that?
so in keeping with the analogy that I'm creating is that money's a tool, right? If you have no knowledge on how to use the tool, how useful is the tool?
Mhm.
Who's the tool?
And that
Listen,
to me is
unless
part
you
of the
win the
issue.
lottery, that's the only way you're getting money. I don't know how you getting it.
And even then, if I get the
I
lottery
don't
and
know
I
how you
don't have
getting it.
knowledge of using, I will lose it. Like most people who lottery winners are broke within 5 years
Exactly.
because you don't have the knowledge of what to do with it. And you say knowledge is power. Well, knowledge is perceived power.
Then that means
And
you had
if
the
I have
wrong
to
people.
apply it,
You had the wrong people around you to tell you how to dictate and what to do with that money in the first place. You
yeah,
had the
and
wrong people around. Your circle was shit.
I,
Period.
this, but
If you
see,
win money and you don't know what to do with it as a grown man, you have the wrong people around you. You never associated with the right people to get the knowledge for what you need. Your
let,
ass was an idiot. You were freaking living on $45,000 because that's where you belong. But if you win the lot, if I won the lottery today, I would know exactly who to contact. And even if I don't win the lottery, I have the right people around me to get to that where I'm gonna go. That's what I'm talking about. So don't say you're gonna. Oh, if you have the money, you don't know who to or what to do or what to do with it. How did you get it in the first place? That's my question.
Antoine,
You
if you win the
inherited it.
lottery, brother, contact me.
yeah.
Yeah, and
yes, sir.
what you do?
But
Hey,
again,
Inherit it?
I like that.
look
Contact
here.
You
too.
guys are talking like if I
I
have the
know I'm
money, it's the
new, but
knowledge.
if you win, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They said, "Where Antoine? We need to
Oh
find
yeah.
out where he at."
Hey, we got we don't have too much time in the show, but we are going to go over about an extra 20 minutes today, because there's a couple more things I want to get done. And one of the things that I want to talk about, it seems like everybody on here has a certain level of it. And that's perspective. You know, we all coming from different talking points, different visions. And I think that, you know, men of value have perspective. And I know I want to start with Coach because Coach runs a podcast called Empowering Perspectives. And I'm sure he just didn't pull that name out of the sky, you
Mhm.
know, and his part of his brand and part of what he focuses on, if not all things, is helping men, helping people, but men are part of all people. So I want to start with Coach. Your thoughts on men of value have perspective.
It's necessary. I kind of talked about it previously in a nutshell. I mentioned that we are to marry our purpose and pursue our calling. And one of the things that I mentioned, I touched on when Mr. McDonald asked the question, the reason why we marry our purpose is because it resembles Christ marrying the church. The other side of that conversation is the reason why we pursue our calling, and because it means that anybody that falls in line at that particular point or link up with us, that means that we're equally yoked. That means that our future spouse as well. So we don't have to convince that person to accept the vision that we actually have. They automatically fall in line because it was on the same path that they were going anyway. I believe men have perspective. Let's define the term. Our perspective is literally our belief system. In other words, this is the lens that we view the world through. Everybody's belief system is not the same. I think one of the things that we need to understand is that we need to respect other people's perspective. So when it comes down to my podcast, empowering perspective means that based upon the platform that I am gifted with, I have the ability to empower other people's worldview. And I honor wherever they are. I don't judge anybody for what they see and or believe. So with that being said, men of value, number one, have a belief system. You cannot wander aimlessly through this world and think that you mean anybody any good. It will never work. If you are lost, the only thing you're going to do is get other people lost, especially as soon as you intertwine your life with them. This is why on Friday
Exactly.
night, I'm
Mhm.
talking about learning how to deal with sexual energy. That is a very important thing that most young men, because let's be honest, sex is taboo in our community. So we don't even broach that conversation. So we need to have that conversation early with men so that they'll understand how to handle that energy once they feel overwhelmed, right? So perspective is literally how you view the world. Now, I want to bring some other terms to the conversation because I think it's important. We like to talk about our experiences, and what we want people to do is kind of grandfather us to some position of authority because of our previous experience. No, the term that I bring to the table in respect to your experience, that's called retrospective, right? The ability to look back and see the things that I've been through. I don't bring my prior experiences to the table. I bring the lessons that I learned from my prior experience to the table because that's me adding value to the group based upon what I learned. And the next term I want to bring is introspective. Introspective means that I look inwardly so that I can learn, so that I can bring out the lessons that I learned based upon the encounters that I'm having right now. What did I learn? How could I have handled, like I'll use Vic because I'm looking at you, brother. What can I learn within the midst? I want to make sure I say that within the midst of the conversation that me and Vic are currently having. That means that I must humble myself. The last term I'm going to bring to this conversation is what they call circumspective. Circumspective is what we're doing now. You have a number of different perspectives that are being brought to the table, and I don't think my perspective is the only one that matters. I'm listening to everybody that speaks because everybody brings something of value to the conversation. So, with that being said, when we say men of value have perspective, absolutely. But the most important thing to understand, because my perspective is my belief system, I am also humble enough to understand that within the level of awareness in my belief system, I am not absolute. So I need to humble myself so I can hear from other people. We are absolutely nothing individually except dependent upon other people to help us
Mhm.
get where we get to, where we need to get to.
I know I can't top that, Coach. What I'm going to say is that first and foremost is that yes, men of value do have perspective, and our perspective clearly shape our values. And based on how we think and how we move, clearly that's how we're going to think, and based on our experience, that's also going to shape our values. So we are we are men who have experience, and while values um are intrinsic, and we have certain things within us, how we're going to treat other people, how we expect to be treated. um if we don't have certain perspective on how we experience it, how are we going to pour value into other people? But one of the things that I've been hearing throughout this conversation from different individuals is around how we ensure that other people receive what we're given, and whether or not it's through service or just through our behavior, through our presence. It's clear to me that you cannot have value if you're not expecting to give, if you're not expecting people to receive something, and for you to be open and receptive to other people's thoughts, beliefs, and attitude. You have to have value when you can sit and say, I'm doing this because I want to see the good in humanity. I want to believe that people have good in them. I'm going to pour some value into people. I'm going to help without expecting anything back. Because I don't think anyone who's in public service, like Maurice said, if you've been in public service, you never went in it for the money. You never did. So clearly, there must be something else. Either you went in it to be altruistic or something else, but you never went in it for money. So clearly, you must have some systems or some value system where you went in to pour and to help other people. So you must be of service. So I don't want to place any value on money because I don't even think that's a part of my conversation here. I think it's necessary for us to definitely have a perspective, but our perspective shape our values, and our experience does shape our values.
You know, I do like the idea of you saying going into public service or whatever it is. But by the same token, I also, as brother Antoine said, the idea, I don't want to dismiss that. Oftentimes you've been told there's no money in public service, but that's where you have to be around people that's going to teach you the wealth principles. This is why you got to learn how to make the money chase you, make money while you sleep. And I like what brother Vic said. I think he said you're here to create problem solutions or opportunities. And so the idea, by the way, I'm borrowing all this stuff. I'm letting y'all know right now. I steals. Okay, that's what it is. But the idea of this is to create a sense of wealth by multiple streams of income coming in from different sources while I'm doing service. Because it's true, I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. So therefore, I can't help the needy if I don't have a way to plant seed or in the way number one, I'm a tither, so I have no problem. So I already know that it ain't about the money because money's coming my way. And sometimes my blessings are not always money. Let me put that out there. Number one, I had the greatest gift this morning when these two eyes opened. Okay. And so, and as grandma would say, blood running warm in my veins and all that stuff. So every day is a present for me. And to find that gift of where I can pour into somebody and then get somebody to pour into me. Like you brother said, pour it into me tonight. And I realize I'm looking forward, and if I'm invited to come back, because you always come the first time. Mama said, "Don't wear out welcome." Now, if I'm invited to come back, I'm coming back borrowing. I want to bring something to the table, but I'm gonna take something from that table because y'all put a feast out here tonight.
Get you a to-go plate,
boy. Come with a straight arm, leave with a bent arm. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Wrap it up in a styrofoam container with the old grocery bag.
Bring all that stuff for
in aluminum foil. In aluminum foil.
I'm gonna bring something for them too.
Got to have aluminum foil.
Hey, I appreciate you guys tonight because these different perspectives, and I would love to connect with you guys at some point.
Absolutely, man. One of the things about valuable men have perspective. Like I said earlier, I've been writing this manifesto called Accountable Masculinity. And the goal of it is to eliminate the alpha beta competition because it doesn't matter. Because you could be as alpha you want to be, but or as beta as you want to be. But if you ain't accountable, none of it matters. So, like 4 rules, simple rules, right? And rule number 1 is men focus on men. Rule 2, we don't argue with women. Rule 3, decentralized leadership. And rule 4, legacy and equity. Now, this is the most important because it fits this portion of the perspective piece. Because what comes with perspective is that you're speaking from a man that has lived many lives and has many journeys. You know what I'm saying? Different angles looking at the same problem. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can go back to your old neighborhood and remember where you were standing when something happened. You know what I'm saying? And now you understand what type of person you were to even be witness to what was taking place and realize that it could have been you. It could have been somebody close to you that you cared about, but you had that perspective. So like now, since you got out of survival mode and now you can think about other people, you know what I'm saying? Because you use money as a tool to get out of survival mode. That's it. You just got to get out of survival mode so you can become the person that you really are. Then when the person that you really are shows up and you work on behalf of your community the right way, rule number 4 comes into play. And it's about legacy and equity. Live a life of service towards your community and others. You must be credible and capable of both mentoring and being mentored. You must be receptive and coachable. Being able to instill knowledge and wisdom into others is an act of submission and a privilege. You know what I'm saying? So like you owe it back to your community to live a life that forces you to write down what you've done and so you can have a record of what you've accomplished. You know what I'm saying? So legacy and equity. What are you doing right now that's going to be captured in time after you gone. Your work has to outlive you because somebody might not have the reference points. You don't have an excuse as to why you can't get yourself together now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just too many perspectives coming at you. It's about what's in your brain that's not allowing you to access a different set of information. And it's a choice. And if you're not thinking about what your life is going to look like, quality of life, and this isn't about money because you can only have what you can afford. And sometimes you can't afford something because of your attitude. You can't afford something because of your proximity to certain people. You can't afford something because of your activities. You see what I'm saying? So, like, what type of status have you obtained in life, and how does your status make other people's life better? You know what I'm saying? So that's why legacy and equity is so important.
Hey, I heard that. Hey, what we about to do right now, before we end the show, about 5 minutes, but we actually said we're gonna stay over about an extra 20 minutes. So um if we're gonna go through the panel and we're gonna close out with our final thoughts. So go around the horn. I dropped the in the chat, the private chat, I dropped the order. So Chris, you up first. Um yeah, man. Final thoughts. So here you go. I know I'll give you a little bit. I'll give you. I'll stall. I'll stall for a couple of seconds. Um, you you know, as soon as you jumped on, people started talking about you adding value and to their show. Coach talked about it when you first jumped on, and I know you. One of the things you are good at is understanding and having awareness of where you are, and understanding that in certain spaces some of this information is new to you, and that you sometimes take the road of sitting back and listening and taking in.
I'm a
So
fly
I
on the
think that's
wall.
that's that that's a good thing. But at the same time, every time you spit, it's always good stuff. So whatever it is you be sitting around soaking in your introvert time, it obviously pays off when you open your mouth. So in the same book that Maurice said he read, is there something that talks about, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So it must be something in your heart to whereas when you speak, there's some good stuff in there. So I don't want to overlook that, but I did want to highlight that and stall and let you um get your thoughts together since I threw you out there.
Okay, final thoughts. I guess just based off of this conversation, valuable men understand that knowledge is the gateway to become the type of person that you want to be. Knowledge is the gateway to become a valuable man. So you have to get around those men who have the knowledge that you wish to seek out. And you have to humble yourself enough to soak that in and put your ego away because you don't know everything. You have to be, I very wise man once said, if you are in a room and you the smartest person in there, you are in the wrong room. That's why I listen. So I guess in my introverted time, I'm listening. Um, and I was always taught to do more listening than talking too. You can't listen and talk at the same time. Um, so I guess valuable men understand that it's not about them. It's really not. Valuable men are valuable to other people. You have to become a valuable man to be able to impart that knowledge. But I guess the main goal in becoming a valuable man is to create more valuable men, create more valuable people. It's not about you. It's about the people that you help, and it's about your network. It's about the people that are around you that can take something from you and maybe build something. I am humbled to be a part of this. I truly am. I'm humbled to be a part of this. I'm humbled to be around men who understand that they bring value, even if it's a small amount. They bring value. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm just now starting to walk into that. So, like I said, I'm humbled. I appreciate it. This was a great conversation. But like I said, Being a valuable man is not about you. Never was. It's about who you can help become valuable with your value. So I guess I'll just leave it at that.
Well, there's no need to echo genius after it's been said. So, Chris, I can't say it as eloquently as that. So, thank you for that, for what you just shared. That just really gave me a little bit of, some of my final thought, which is I think that if you want to know the value of a person or of a man, I should say, look around him. And that's what I like about what Chris just said. It's like it's not about you. I'm fortunate that I can say, like, if you look around me, I have a few hundred students. I was a campus pastor. A few people from a church that I used to pastor didn't get kicked out. I actually left because I took another job. If you look at my family and how people are advancing, including my parents, who actually work for me now, in my companies. I say if you want to know the value of a person, but of a man in particular, look at who's around him. And if the people around him are either trying to do one of the few things, this is why I love everything Vic said about opportunity. I'm going to get it, brother. Problems, solutions. That's it. I got it. See that? Like I said, another king, talking. But if people are around you and they're trying to be like you, you add value. If people are around you and they're trying to get what you have, you have value. If people are around you and they're questioning what you're doing, you really know you got value because now they're looking and they're trying to figure it out. But if people are around you and nobody wants to have anything to do with you, okay, like no one want to have anything to do with you, then that's when I would tell that man to check himself. Like, okay, check. Like check yourself. If you live a lonely life, if you're alone and no one is around you, then that's when I would say check yourself, because that's what and to me, that's your sign. That's one of the ultimate signs of a man of value is who is around him, who wants to be around him. And the people who are around him, what are they doing? And if the people around you are trying to take stuff from you, then that must mean that you must be starving them. So that's the one thing, that I say, you can tell your value by how people actually value you. So I'm fortunate that I can say that I don't look at my value. I just tell people to look at those around me and let it speak for me. So those are my final thoughts on that.
I like that. Antoine, you up next. Look at that. What are you creating? Problems, solutions, or opportunities?
Necessary. Necessary.
It always makes me laugh when he does that.
Hey, I'll throw it back up there for you, Maurice. I got you. You got it?
That is so necessary.
Hey, get all the free chicken, baby. Get all the free chicken.
Hey, Antoine, you up? Final thoughts.
Gee, listen, my perspective is I keep things simple. It's just humans who tend to make it complicated. I ain't going that route, right? Life is simple. It really is. It's to build, grow, establish, and learn as you go. You ain't going to learn it overnight, and you're always going to keep learning. That's it, right? And I'm telling you, I always say this, you're as good as the company you keep. So keep good company and be willing to cut those loose. You can't save everybody, and you don't want to save everybody. I don't want everybody to like me because then my phone's ringing too much and my door's knocking. There's too many people knocking on my door. I don't want everybody to like me. I just need you to do what I need you to do. If you have something I want, I just need you to like me enough to give it to me or sell it to me. That's it. I have my friends already. I have my little wolf pack, and I have the people that can help me and build me. Because once I put on my mask, I can help everybody in my family. And I can help all the friends that need help. I can show them how to make money. They had it easier than me when I was growing up. I didn't have YouTube. I could find a mentor off YouTube today. I didn't have that growing up. I had the library. I had people to ask or people to have to walk down the street or find an uncle. I didn't have the access that I have today. So I'm speaking to these kids that have that access right now and with these tools they have around them right now. Don't make life complicated. Just keep it simple. You need help? Ask. Put your ego aside. You know what? You don't know it all. You don't, and you never will, because it's always a journey. Whatever you learn, I'm still learning stuff today, right? I'm still learning stuff today. I'm an artist. I learned from the masters, and I'm like, God damn, I just figured that out. but I'm still evolving as one. And that is what life is about. So if my perspective is straightforward, you're as good as the company you keep good company, be willing to cut those loose. Because if they're taking you down, you're going into the water, you're sinking, right? And please don't try to get everybody to like you. You don't want everybody to like you. All right? You don't want everybody to like you. It's okay. You're gonna make mistakes. It's okay. I don't want everybody to like me. I just need what you have. Keep it like that. There's business, there's family, there's friends, and there's acquaintances. And the others don't matter. Don't complicate it and put it all this whole hoopla shit and talk about, oh, well, I got to develop as a man. You ain't a man if you have to develop. Sorry to tell you. You ain't a man. Sorry. Unfortunately, you're not a man. You're not. At least, and you're not, and you can't be in my company because you offer nothing to me. You know, you're just an anchor that I don't need. I'm going to cut you loose. Now, if you're coming in with the perspective of, I need to learn, I want to grow, I want to build, I need to make money, I need to know how you did it. Now we are talking. Now I can pour something into you because you're receptive to it. You're going to suck it up like a sponge. You know what I mean? There's 1,000 ways to do something in drawing. I always tell everybody that, how do you do what you do? I'm going to show you how I do it, but you're going to use your own gifts and your own talents to shape it into what you need to do. I'm just going to show you how I do it, but you're going to make it your own style. That's what art is about. My work is fantastic, but you know what? You may walk into a gallery and see a line on the wall and go, shit, that just registers to you. Doesn't mean my work is bad. It just means that pulled something from you. That brought something out of you. Those are the people you need to find. People that bring shit out of you. People that want you to do great. And use the resources you have, but drop the ego. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to cry. It's okay to ask for help. You don't know it all. And you never will. Sorry to tell you, you ain't no Adonis. You're not. And you ain't no Einstein, and you ain't no genius. Even Einstein still read. As much as the man knew, he still had a library of books to read from and pull from and open up and read. And he didn't remember everything. He was a great mathematician, but he'd tell you, give me that book. Let me see what you're reading. That's all I have to say. Done.
Oh.
What you got, Vic? My fault.
You had a little misfire over there.
Yeah, I'm glad I did.
Now, I think that number one, I think one of the things that determines value too is your level of patience and tact. And people that you encounter in life are lessons and reference points in life of your patience and your tact and how you respond to them, you know what I'm saying, with information provided, how you give them grace, you know what I'm saying, and give time to make decisions. And we all cross the same streets at different times, you know what I'm saying, and everybody's not getting planted at the same time of year. You feel me? So we can all have alarm clocks set for different hours, you know what I'm saying? But you wake up when you wake up, you know. And generally speaking, if we can get this conversation into rooms that we aren't even understanding, it can affect somebody else's child. You know what I'm saying? It can create another perspective for them. You know what I'm saying? It's incumbent upon us to use this platform to harness every experience that we can package into just an hour and a half or however long it is. It's probably more information in the last 15 minutes than some people have ever had in their life from an authentic place. And that's part of being a man of values, having authentic intent, you know. And when you really boil it down to it, you know what I'm saying, you come back to having accountable masculinity, you know, because you know what was said to keep you from being the man that you are, you know. And you got to have an understanding of history and economics and where we are, and knowing that people that lived 40, 50 years ago were able to organize with less tools than what we have. So when we get organized and it's time to mobilize, what are we creating with that energy? You know what I'm saying? And we should be creating new leaders. And if you're confused about what a new leader is, that's your invitation to follow and pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that happens to you that doesn't afford you the opportunity that you're looking for, that's an invitation for you to be patient. because it ain't meant for you yet. You know what I'm saying? Like if you believe in a creator, then your job is to create, but you don't get to dictate the timing. You get to use the skills that you've encountered with the patience that you learn from the people that you interacted with so you can create properly. So everybody's responsible for somebody, you know what I'm saying, at some point. And then that's when you really come into account for who you are as a man. Until you've led, until you've had other people depending on you making the right decision, then you don't really understand the power that you do possess. But the only way you're going to do that is if you step willingly, if you embrace a purpose that's bigger than you. And if you're not aligned with something bigger than you, you're doing your community a disservice. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to not take away, but you're definitely not adding to if you're not stepping on your purpose.
My final thought is very simple, and I'm gonna try to do that kiss thing. Just keep it as simple right now, and it's really just that we have to add value to people. We have to be men of value by being empathetic. We have to be men of value by being vulnerable, um, being transparent, certainly looking to serve our community. But one thing I know is that I truly, truly believe that we are more valuable to those around us than we seek for them to be valuable to us, because we are going to get it regardless. So you pour value out there, you do things authentically without even looking for anything else, and it will come right back to you. So as we go on this journey, in different perspective, different ways of looking at things, in the end, we do it because we know that we have service to other people, whether or not we get paid or we get a thank you. We just do it. So I think if we're going to be of value to anyone, we have to be truthful to ourselves and just be, very open, transparent, and be empathetic to those around us.
Man, it was some wise words that have been spoken so far. I will try to, as much as I possibly can, not to just step on anyone's toes and restate the same thing that's already stated, because I think everything that everybody has said so far has been nothing but value added. One of the things I want to bring to the table as a final thought is never mix value with ego. I think that's really important for us to understand. Never mix value with ego. Value is for others, ego is all about self. So when I look at what I quote unquote bring to the table or doing for somebody else, if I look at the joy that I get with it or whatever the case may be, that's more of an egocentric way of thinking. But let me ask this question: when you do something for somebody else, is it for them? You know what I'm saying? Does it add value to them? Is it within the scope of the value that they want to add? That's the thing that I challenge everybody to consider, because I think that's important. You heard a lot of great information here tonight. Vic dropped some science. Brother Maurice dropped some science. Dr. Easley, man, you always drop science. Antoine dropping science, Chris dropping science, Mr. Orville dropping science, and of course, Uncle Junior dropping science. Nothing but science that's dropped tonight. We even got to the point that we started talking about laws in the chat. One of the law I want to introduce in the midst of this conversation, because keep in mind we're talking about men of value, is the law of sacrifice. Can you sacrifice something of smaller value for the greater good of somebody else? Can you sacrifice your ego right now for someone else's advancement? Mr. McDonald, you great conversation about the sidewalk conversation. Man, I love that, because I had a conversation today with a lieutenant who will remain nameless, and he was really depressed, and I can see it all over him. And one of the things he mentioned to me is that he was done with a particular branch of the army. He wanted to move on. And so he remembered coming to see me, or my group per se, when he came through us. And he said, I know you guys care, but nobody else cared. And he said, do you remember me? I said, yeah, I remember you. And he looked at me and he said, really? What's my first name? And I told him his first name. And I think just by virtue of me telling him his first name, that meant more to him than anything else. So I challenge everyone, How can you, and this is something for each person to consider, there is no right answer, by the way. How can you set your ego aside daily for the sake of someone else's advancement? That's my challenge because that, my friend, is the very definition of a man of value.
I had to
On you,
turn my
Maurice.
camera off. I had to turn my camera off after that.
Hey,
Get out of here.
Maurice, unmute your mic.
Yeah,
Man,
unmute yourself, brother.
I had to unmute because I'm sitting up here saying going last after this. I'm telling you, but you know what, man? And I know this is some confirmation because my final thoughts is what Coach just said. I was talking about ego because ego stops everything. And you all know the meaning of ego, edging God out. When you find yourself putting myself first, me, 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 me. But to me, my final thought is, how can I be of service? Because service to me is the foundation because somebody served me. That football coach, that neighbor down the street that saw me on the corner doing something I shouldn't have been doing, that put me in check. That whole village that I had on the block that knew my daddy, that I held in reverence. I look back at all those old saints that have gone on to glory, who stood in the gap for this naughty head boy back in the day, who kept pushing me when I didn't know where I was going. I look back at that; they provided service to me. And Miss Gibson, who lived next door to me as a young man, she said to me, and I found these words, I never forget that. In her Jamaican accent, she would say, God, him don't wear pajamas because him don't sleep. I look back at that whole point about my service started right there. And she said, life is like a parade. I see it one float at a time. My creator see it from beginning to end of service to other people and of service that to me opens the door to my legacy when somebody can say, hey, you know what? I didn't do what I was going to do because what you poured into me, you didn't give up on me. To me, I can't put a price tag on that because that young man's going to have a child who's going to have a child who's going to have a child, and somebody was poured into him, and each of you has poured into something I know there are countless of people y'all have helped and still helping. So my whole thing is I can't get caught up in my ego. And I love this. I love this platform. And to be a part of this platform, I consider this an honor tonight. My first night, I call Uncle Junior. I got to call him Uncle Junior now. I call Uncle Junior and say, hey, is this the night? 8 minutes, last minute. But sometimes good things happen when it's not planned, when you come natural, straight as it is. And Brother Chris, listen, man, you bring a lot to the table, man. Everybody does, but hey, I like what you said, that you listening, but you also dropping nuggets, man. I appreciate you guys. I look forward to this again. My last final thought is ego. Let's make sure our ego stays intact. We don't edge God out in all the success we have. Bless you, brothers.
Man, I guess I got to follow all of this. So I'm gonna keep mine short, man. And everything on here tonight has added value to me. I met some of these people. I've only known them for a couple of weeks. I've known some people for years. We all have something to bring to the table, and the reason why we're on here is we're all adding some sort of value to each other. We're all offering value as well. I'm humbled tonight because um like just to be able to see all of this, just to see this, to be able to see men come together. I remember early in the show, what I mean, there was always this stereotype, or this always this talking point that black men don't work together. Now, this is not a black platform by any means, you know what I mean? We have white guests. Whoever is welcome and is a man is welcome to be on the show. But just because I am black, most of my friends just happen to be black. It's just the way it is. Um, Good, bad, or indifferent. But, I think if we look at here, we can get rid of that myth that black men don't work together. That's not our narrative. That may be a narrative or a talking point in other sectors, but not over here. We do work together, and we also work with everybody and other people as well. Um, so I'm humbled and I'm thankful for everyone who came on the show tonight and offered their opinion, expertise, and offered their value in their time, because their time is valuable to them. And I've soaked up an hour and 49 minutes of it. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate all y'all for that. I'm gonna say publicly, I love all y'all guys. You know what I mean? I appreciate everything y'all done. I appreciate everything that
Love
you
you
all
too,
are
man.
doing and going to do. Um Before I go, I want to thank all the panel members again today. I appreciate y'all, from the bottom of my heart and then some. I appreciate your thoughts, your information, your perspective, everything that you share with us today. Thank you to the chat out there. You chat was putting it down today, dropping bombs, jewels, information, knowledge, and everything else like that. So I appreciate y'all, everybody who supported the show. If you missed the show, if you just tuning in at the end, you can catch the live show on YouTube. It should be done uploading sometime after this. But before I go, lastly, I'm gonna plug some books again. Go out there and buy Mind Heart for Diversity, Dr. Thomas Rashad Easley, The Code, Vic, and another one, Be a Man, Walter Burchett. I think I got it right this time. So part of being a man is we have code. And men, one of the things we do, we mention all the time that men, we have to support each other. So one of the things that I'm doing is, all my friends who write books, like I'm buying them. No ifs, ands, or buts. Even if I don't read them. Like I ain't read none of these books yet. I'm just being real. I ain't read none of these books. I read about 5 or 6 chapters out of Vicks, but I ain't read all these books. I am one day, eventually, but I got them. It is what it is. I ain't a reader. So I get in where I fit in. I ain't it is what it is. But at the end of the day, man, I appreciate all y'all for being here. Check out the other videos on the YouTube network. Shout out to Sarah Khan and my brother again. I love y'all. Y'all have a good night. All these good things. And as soon as I find my clip, we are out.